Hello students of Goishpur Netaji Vidya Mandir, welcome back. Hope you are all safe inside your house. You should follow staying inside as prescribed by our government in this situation. We all know that we are going through a very tough situation, and we have to abide by the rules which are stated by our government during this time. We have to stay inside, we have to wash our hands. Hope you are all doing that. So we were discussing voice and the various means of changing voice. Just one thing I have to discuss, then we shall proceed to a new lesson. Just one thing, it is about imperative sentences. How to change the voice of imperative sentences. Now, what is imperative sentences? We all know that imperative sentences is kind of sentences which expresses orders, requests, advice, etc. Now, how to change the voice of an imperative sentence? First, I like to show you some examples. Look, let me focus the camera first. Here are some examples of imperative sentences, like do it, and the passive is let it be done. Tell him to go, let him be told to go. So when we have to change the voice of imperative sentences, usually let is placed at the beginning of the passive voice. You can go through different examples like shut the door, open the window, do the sum. In all these cases, the passive voice should start with a let. Let the door be opened. Let the door be shut. Let the sum be done. So usually we should use let in the passive voice. And you should also practice exercises of imperative sentences, changing voice of imperative sentences. As well active from passive to active. Okay, just this topic we had overlooked in our previous classes. So a sentence, imperative sentence, changing voice of imperative sentences is discussed here. Look, some other examples. Put up a tent. Have a tent put up. Keep your word should be kept. So other than using let, you can change the voice. Please keep off the grass. You are requested to keep off the grass. Now, by using should, the modal verb should, you can change the voice of some imperative sentences. Sometimes you can use this clause, you are requested, to change the voice of an imperative sentences. So you have to look at the example and practice where to use let, where to use should, or where to use you are requested. Only practices can make a man perfect. So you need not to worry and do enough practices of changing voice of these imperative sentences. After that, we should discuss the problems. Okay. Now focus on to our lesson. Hello. Here is a lesson 10 by Mulk Raj Anand. Lesson 10 of your textbook for class 9. Mulk Raj Anand, The Price of Bananas. So there are some introduction about the author Mulk Raj Anand. Mulk Raj Anand was a prolific writer who earned a great admiration for his short stories and novels like Coolie, Untouchable, The Village, etc., where he depicted the lives of poorer castes in traditional Indian society. The text, an abridged version of his story of the same name, presents an apparently funny situation where a businessman has his beloved cap seized by a monkey and finally get it back by offering the offending monkey a bunch of bananas. Though the tone of the story is light-hearted, the author notes with sad concern the unkind and unjust behavior of the businessman towards the poor fruit vendor who had helped him to get back his cap. So here we discuss about firstly about Mulk Raj Anand, the great Indian author of English, and he was a very prolific writer, and his famous novel, one of the famous novels, is The Untouchable. Actually, Untouchable. There are others also like Coolie, a leaf with two birds, like something. So he was a very prolific writer, and he wrote many short stories. Here we are reading one, The Price of Bananas. It is an abridged version, that is, it is shortened version. So here there is a apparently funny situation in the story, and by reading it thoroughly, we can sense that there is also a very sad undertone to this story, because there is a very unkind and very unjust treatment of the poorer section of our society. Here it is represented by a fruit vendor, a vendor of fruits. So let us start the let us start reading the text. You should all open your textbook and go by the reading, and you should note down immediately the words that strikes you, and you should note down the word in your notebook. Afterwards we can discuss the words. Let us start reading the text. I was on my way from Faizabad railway station to Lucknow. I had arrived at the station half an hour in advance of the time for the train's departure. So the author who was traveling from Faizabad to Lucknow. You all know Lucknow is the capital of now Uttar Pradesh. So, and the author they reached to the stations before half an hour before the train's departure. I sat on a bench watching the monkeys frolicking on the trees. Frolic. What is frolic? Frolic is acting just playfully, just playing. বাংলায় বলতে গেলে যেটা বলতে পারো চঞ্চলভাবে খেলে বেড়ানো. On the trees on the open platform. The monkeys descended now and then to collect half-sucked mango stones and the remainder of food from the platform. Okay, they are just descending from a nearby tree, now and then to collect everything and everything and anything, some mango stones, some everything. They are half sucked, so, they are collecting those. The younger monkeys sat on the boughs of neem and tamarind trees, ready to jump after any food that may be visible. So they were very, what I can say, they are very mischievous kind of monkeys. The younger ones are very mischievous. They are actually looking down at any food, which they can just snatch upon. So that is a picture of that Fazabad station, just depicted by our as narrated by our author. Just then, the train was announced by the ringing of the station bell. Okay, I concentrated on securing a seat for myself in the train. I got a window seat overlooking the platform. Some other passengers joined me in the compartment. So he got a window seat. We all like to sit by window when we are boarding a train. So the author got one, and through the window he was actually looking at the platform. Some other passengers joined me in the compartment. We were all sweating from the rising heat of the summer. It was a summer, sweltering heat of Indian summer. Several passengers were busy filling up their small earthen pitchers from a water pump. So everybody was filling their pitchers. Pitchers, their বাংলায় যাকে কুজো বলে, সেই pitcher, earthen pot. They were filling up those earthen pot with water because it was very hot Indian summer. You have to drink more and more water to keep yourself hydrated during this summer time of in India. I was struck by the genius of a monkey in snatching away the loincloth of a pious person who was taking a bath under the pump. So a genius of a monkey, just by such trickery of a monkey who just snatched away a loincloth of a pious person who was taking a bath under the pump. Someone was taking a bath under the pump, and a very mischievous monkey, with a very clever way snatched away the loincloth of that man who was actually bathing under the pump. A great deal of general amusement was caused by this incident. The bather then requested the monkey to return his loincloth. The monkey was generous and threw it down from the neem at the man's feet. So the incident, the snatching away of loincloth caused a great deal of amusement, and afterwards the bather actually requested the monkey to return his loincloth, and the monkey was actually generous enough, and he threw it down from the neem tree at the man's feet. So to this much, just mark this line with your pen. Up to until this, we should stop here. So you should go through the text. Actually, you should read very carefully the text and try to understand every word, every line, every sentences, and ask me if you are faced with any sort of problems. Okay, thank you. Stay inside, stay safe. Bye.